Right. This might seem like an awkward time. Sorry, let me get this straight. To do this video. Yeah. Trying to make like a makeshift counter. But I had to come on now because it's the early phases of the night. And sorry, it's a little cold. It's like 22. But I had to come on because I'm going to tell a story. All right. And so my story is this. Back in 2005, I come out of a really bad marriage and had 4 kids, all before I was 25. And I met my current husband. And we tried to come together as a blended family very early. All the kids were little and stuff, and I was a believer. I had some falling away and coming back, falling away and coming back. I'm sorry, this is not going to work. Just because my hair is like super tight right now. So long story short, I had fallen away, coming back, met my current husband. My 4 kids, his 1 daughter, all 12 and under. And we tried to blend our family, but we had a lot of baggage, both of us. We had a lot of sin, we had a lot of baggage, we had a lot of mistakes. We attempted to get it together and get right with God. We both had crazy ideas and weird, dreams and goals and stuff like that. Part of which, was, starting our own business. We both wanted to have a ministry that, kind of was like a goodwill. So we started that in like 2007. Our kids did not like it, didn't like us together. Because they saw the faults in us, of course. Kids are quick to judge. They always are. But I did a lot of wrong stuff, and so did he. He couldn't see how much his daughter needed him, and I was just trying to get my senses about me from what I had come out of a 10-year abusive relationship, and I just really wanted a home for my kids. So I kind of forced them on her, and then she missed her dad. Long story short, we made a lot of mistakes. We tried going to church and following the Lord where he led us all that time throughout the many years. At the same time, he ended up finding out that, he had some depression and he had stuff, and I had baggage and stuff that the Lord needed to work through us. But in the process of the years that followed was this constant spiritual warfare of trying to make this family work and the odds against it. But we kept on. And then I felt like at a certain point, which was 2010, I got frustrated because I was like, we were trying to do the house, 2 cars, picket fence, nice home, take care of 5 kids. And it just seemed like everything we tried was against us. We had problems. We had addictions. I've never lied about that. Not on any video. I mean, he drank and I'd have a bottle of wine a night. Or, like I said, I had an opiate addiction. We also had his dad live with us for a time. My mom lived with us for a time. His sisters lived with us for a time, etc., etc. It was not the easiest. And through all of this struggle, I ended up leaving him one time because my landlord came to my work and said, well, that's pitiful. You get rid of your husband because he's not doing a very good job of taking care of you. And I allowed that little seed to begin to fester and manifest in my brain. And the kids were already mad at him because, he wanted to be a dad to all of them, but at the same time, he wanted to be a dad to his daughter. So he felt this constant tug of war inside of him. And I didn't want to interfere with his daughter's stuff because I didn't want to overstep my boundaries from her mother. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, my kids had gone through a whole bunch of stuff in the mess of that 10-year marriage, like all kinds of terrible stuff, And I wasn't quite sure the whole ramifications of that messed up marriage from 18 to 28 years old. I didn't know. But anyway, I left him and came back because the Lord would not allow me to leave him. And I came back and believed the Lord to restore things. And he did. He absolutely did for a little while. But this whole time, our kids are growing up. They're growing up and we're still struggling financially. Like, it was just really hard to get over that hump because everything we did, it would either be in debt or trying to make a business work that really wasn't getting off the ground. It was just constant struggle with money. Honestly, that's what it was. And our kids are growing up in the meantime. I left again because I got frustrated without the house and the picket fence, et cetera, et cetera. Or I felt like he wasn't providing or working hard, et cetera. And neither was I part of the time either, but then I would work hard and then he'd have a hard time finding a job. It was a lot of back and forth, like fighting and not fighting, but wanting things to work because God had given us a vision for our family. And early on, the kids tried to sabotage it. And so I left 3 times, came back 3 times. The final time I left was literally because I felt like we had nothing. And we had been living in an RV, which was great. I loved that. But we had come to a spot where we were kind of stuck and I didn't know what to do. And I was listening to the voices of the universe and the create your own life you love gods. And I was trying to incorporate my God into that world and turn the New Age religion into a religion of the Most High. And he just wasn't having it. No, not at all. And so I left my husband. And I moved to another city and I got 3 jobs. And I rented a room. And I was a very wicked, wicked person. So wicked. So wicked. Because I left him alone, hoping that it would motivate him at that point because he was struggling with depression. And it wasn't long. It was like 3-4 weeks before I'm like, all right, well, I really do love you. But at the same time, I was torn because I really wanted something to give and change. And so I lived an hour away here. He lived there until he finally sold our RV and moved up here. Well, last April on Passover, God did a work in my heart. I've always known that he's called me to the greater things. Mind you, at this point, after all the leaving and stuff, our kids hate our guts. They hate us. They think we shouldn't be together, that we're just not right together. Nothing we do will ever be right in their eyes. Nothing. Unless it involves a lot of money and a house and 2 cars. And I can't figure out at which point I got this wrong with the kids because I was always kind of like a wannabe Jesus freak hippie living in a bus. That was always my thing. And I'm not sure where I messed my kids up in that line of just wanting a simple life. But I'll tell you this. He was a good man to raise someone else's children and to sacrifice his own daughter for them and for me. And the whole time that we're going through all this stuff with the kids, we're also going through a monster child support issue. 12 years in and out of courts, paying lawyers, trying to get this ridiculous number, $52,000, that was not even a real number for child support. I can't even go into that. Some fabricated number somebody made up and put on a piece of paper. And he's always paid the price for that. Always. You have credit, he can't get anything. He cannot own anything. And so 3 years ago, every year he has a re-up and has to go to court to prove the child support issue. And it just so happens that 3 years ago, $650 was due, but his boss was going to fire him if he went to court, because where we were both working is where we lived. And if he would have missed work that day, he was getting fired and we would have had to move, and that we couldn't do. And so instead of going to court that day, he skipped court to keep the job so that we could keep the place where we were living. And we thought it was taken care of because we paid stuff and we thought it was taken care of. Well, tonight, in case none of you know, but do know, we have been homeless since December 16th because the Lord told us to leave that house because it was a stepping stone and to take a leap of faith and trust Him to provide as we work. And we've been working on our business. Not only that, my husband has gotten 2 other jobs in the process. The Lord told me not to work. He actually told me to quit my jobs because I was supposed to be working for Him right now in my ministry, if that's what you want to call it, because who am I, right? Who am I but a big fat sinner and a loser? Well, tonight we're parked in our truck on a quiet little overlook, trying to go to sleep, and the police come knocking at our window. And lo and behold, he's still got this thing from 4 years ago for $600 child support that we thought was taken care of. And he's in jail right now. And he doesn't even owe it. It's the worst part. 12 years of fighting this injustice. I'm not going into that. That's not the point. The point is that I'm hypocritical because I abandoned him. And here I am, abandoned in a parking lot, alone. And he's there alone. We have nothing. And I love the Lord. I love Yeshua. And so does he. And we know that he was setting us on a new path because of all the prophetic words, all the visions, all the things that we've shared between each other and the Lord. And at the same time today, my youngest daughter has talked to me in a year, except for at Christmas once. My oldest daughter disowned me a day. His daughter said, I don't care if he's in jail. All in their 20s. They hate our guts. They hate us. And I've been praying consistently for so many years for God to restore our family, to rebuild it, to reunite us with new relationships together. Families mess up. I mean, are they supposed to be perfect? No. Am I perfect? I've never said I was perfect. Just because I like to live a different kind of lifestyle, I should not be judged and condemned for. And that's what this video is about. Because we have constantly been judged and condemned by our children. And we have hurt them. Absolutely. But we've said we're sorry. And there have been just as many good times as bad times. And my husband is amazing. Amazing to me. And so, yes, I'm upset because I'm alone in this parking lot in the middle of the night. But I'm more upset that he's there paying for something as an innocent man. So, the Lord said this was a time of change and renewal and restoration and healing. But He didn't tell me it was a time of Job's trouble. Because I've actually lived that before. And so I just ask you to pray for him, please. It's so unfair. I know this is all part of a test. We broke down in West Virginia. We were stuck in a little town in West Virginia. I've been sleeping in this truck for 7 days. And we're not proud of it, but we're not embarrassed by it because stuff happens. But we know that we have an Abba who loves us, who has a plan and a purpose for us and for our kids and for our family. I'm just like, when is enough enough? When is enough enough? I'm sold out to God, to Yeshua. Absolutely. But I was also very wicked. And I allowed Jezebel a foothold in my life for so long. But it wasn't always consistent either, because my relationship with the Lord has always been very emotional and consistent. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I've always loved the Lord, but I've wrestled with him a lot. And I fought with him a lot. I've always been prophetic. I've always been a seer. I've always been a scribe. I just don't understand. I don't understand, I guess, all the words that I've heard, all the things he's told me in the past year, and they've all collapsed. Basically, the past month, it's been the exact opposite. And I'm tired of telling people, explaining my story to people. I'm tired of missing my kids. I'm tired of our family being ripped apart. Man is not my judge. Jehovah is my judge. And I love my kids. Each and every one of them. I love them to death. And I love my husband to death. And I'm sorry for everything. I'm sorry because I really don't get it. I just don't get it. Drugs are so wicked. They mess up your life. They hurt your kids. Steal your willpower. That was 5 years ago. But you know what? You know what's missing? As Abba said, love him, love your neighbor. Family never love them. Family never loves each other like they're supposed to. Ever. Ever. Your family, even if you are sold out for the Lord, your family's still going to pinpoint the problem, accuse you, tell you you're worthless, or they're going to pinpoint the problem and tell you need to do better, and maybe you didn't really hear God right or something. There's always some sort of condemnation from family. So I poured my heart out because I need some heavy warfare prayer going on. Heavy warfare prayer. Pray for my daughters. Pray for my son. Pray for my husband. Pray for me for strength. Because tonight it feels like the last little thing we were holding on to. Like that last hope was just ripped away. Just stolen. It's awful. It's awful. And we are in the last of the last days. I know this is a test because this is the kind of situation, and when it's such an injustice situation, that people are going to have to face when it comes to taking the mark of the beast. Your child is going to turn you in. For the Bible says, fathers will turn against sons, daughters against mothers, brothers against brother or sister. And when you stand there and they're pointing a finger saying they will take the mark, they love Jesus, you're going to have to. What are you going to do? And I felt like tonight that Abba said that to me. What are you going to do? Are you going to trust me? Are you going to love me? Are you sold out for me? Are you going to be obsessed with where he's at right now? Or are you going to get strong and put on the armor and war for your family? Because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fast, I'm going to pray, and I'm going to war for my family. Because I'm tired. The enemy has stolen everything from me so many times. He has ripped each one of my kids away from me. He's ripped my stepdaughter away from me. He's ripped the love that I used to have for my husband away from me at times. Thank God that he gave it back. He's ripped away from me my dreams and hopes. He's stolen all my finances. And I'm not saying that it's not due to some of my poor choices. I understand that. What I'm saying is there are obvious times when spiritual warfare happens and it is the enemy, and then there's times when it's your very own choice, or bad choice, I should say. I know the difference. Please pray for our family. Please. I want this channel to inspire someone that in your darkest moments, he's still there saying, what are you going to do? Are you going to love me or love this world? Because we might be in it, but we are not of it. Have a good night, you guys.